Hello everyone. In this lecture I will be discussing with you about the determination of H parameters. How to determine H parameters. Determination of H parameters. Now you know from my last lecture what is all about H parameters and how they are represented, how they are found from a two-port representation of a transistor amplifier. So let us see how using a two-port representation of a transistor amplifier the H parameter values can be determined, or rather we can use the VI characteristics of a transistor, how the H parameter values can be determined. Now the H parameters of a transistor can be determined from the, just now I have told you that from the input and output characteristics of a transistor, that is the VI characteristics, and these characteristics you have already studied earlier, can be determined experimentally also. We are considering here the determination of H parameters of a transistor in common emitter mode of operation. So for all practical cases, common emitter mode will be the preferred mode of operation for this determination purpose, and this is chosen as it is widely used. And you can see all the manufacturers also in different data sheets of transistor devices, they normally specify the common emitter H parameters. So we will prefer this mode for this determination purpose. Now when a transistor is operated in the common emitter mode, the instantaneous total values for input and output currents are respectively IB, this is instantaneous input current value, and IC, which is instantaneous output current value. You can see that this subscript is in capital letter but the variable is in small letter. So this is the way of representing the instantaneous values of different variables used for transistor amplifier. Now the instantaneous total input and output voltages can be respectively denoted as VBE. This is this V should be small. This is alternately written as VB also, and this is instantaneous input voltage, and VCE, which is alternately written as VC. This is instantaneous output voltage. So all the output and input voltages and current variables are defined here first. So we can say that this VB, so now why these variables are needed to be specified at the beginning, because to write the defining equations for two-port representation using the H parameters, you need 4 variables, 2 dependent and 2 independent. So let us first specify all the variables to write those equations. Now these are the variables VB, VC, IB, IC. So functionally we can say that this VB, that means the input voltage, is a function of let us define it as function 1, is a function of this IB and this VC. That means the instantaneous input voltage is a function of instantaneous input current and instantaneous output voltage. So this is one function, and we also can define another function IC, which is nothing but the instantaneous output current. F2 means another function of the same variables as before, IB and VC. So from here, analyzing these two functions, we can say here that out of these 4 variables, these IB and VC are selected as independent variables here, independent variables, and VB and IC are selected as VB and IC are selected as dependent variables. Dependent variables. Now question will arise, question will come, why this IB and VC have been taken as independent variables and the other two VB and IC are dependent variables. If you write the two equations, which will let us see that if first writing those equations and then if we can compare between the two, we have seen that the equations are V1 equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. This is one equation. This was one equation, the defining equations. And I2 is H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So here you what this V1 V2 I1 I2 indicated from these equations, V1 is the input port voltage. So let us compare this first equation with this first function. V1 is expressed with this equation. Here VB is expressed as a function. So that means there must be some relation between this VB and V1. Now what is VB? It is input port voltage of two-port representation. In this case, for CE mode of operation, we know VB, that is VB, is the input port voltage for CE mode of operation. That's why this VB is same as V1 when we are comparing this function with this equation. So for this basic defining equation of two-port network, this V1 is the input port voltage, and for CE mode of operation, VB is the input port voltage. That's why this VB is expressed as a function of two independent variables. Now what are the two independent variables? It is IB and VC. So IB is nothing but, I have told you, it is input current, and VC is output voltage. You can see if you compare this function once again with this equation, that I1 is the input current, which is IB here, so that's why IB is taken as one of the independent variable, and V2 is the output port voltage, which is actually VC here, that is taken as the other independent variable. Okay, so that's why I1 and V2 is same as here IB and VC for CE mode of operation. So similarly, if we compare the second function with the second equation, the same thing will happen. IC is expressed as a function F2. Now question is why IC? Because IC here the output current, and here in this equation I2 is equal to this. That means I2 has been expressed as this. Now what is I2? It is output current. That means what is in general equation I2 is IC here, because I2 is the output current in general equation and IC is the output current in common emitter mode of operation. That's why IC is expressed as these two same independent variables. Okay, so these functions are nothing but the extension of the proof that we are actually using these two generalized form of defining equations for two-port network, and we are extending that knowledge into writing these functions for common emitter mode of operation. Now, if the quiescent values of this common emitter mode of operation are defined by IB, all in capital, that means it's DC or quiescent value, and VC. So if these are the quiescent values, then we may write delta VB, small vb, that is instantaneous value. This is the input voltage, that is change in the input voltage. We can say that is actually it is del V1 for if we compare with this with generalized expression. So delta VB is equal to del VB by del IB for VC as constant into delta IB, and this IB is the constant value, instantaneous value, plus del VB by del Vc. These are instantaneous values when IB is constant. This IB is constant, and that means the DC value or the quiescent value into delta Vc. Now let us see how this can be written. Consider the first function Vb is equal to f1 IB comma Vc. Now since it is a multivariable function, if we want to express is in derivative form or differential form, we need to apply partial differentiation, that is partial derivative. You know, to apply for multivariable form. Now for why we should apply the differential form, that because we will be comparing this, we will be getting these the values of these all these variables and parameters and expressions from the VI characteristics of the transistor amplifier. And VI characteristics means for change in some values there will be some change in the other values, because they are in all the variables of the transistor parameters are interrelated, and that change can be arrested from the dynamic characteristics of VI characteristics of the transistor amplifier. Now the VI characteristics is actually meant the dynamic characteristics of the transistor amplifier. That means how dynamically the transistor is working to amplify the signals, and that dynamic character has to be of the transistor amplifier has to be arrested with the application of partial differentiation or change in parametric values. And change means for multivariable function we need partial derivative, for single variable change we use delta. You know that delta is, this symbol is used to represent changes in some values of some variables. So this equation can be written using this function through partial derivative and the change in the values. That means we can say if there is some changes in these two values IB and IC, the independent variables, there will be a parallel change or simultaneously change in the VB value, that means the dependent value. The value in the dependent variable change will be represented by delta. So delta VB, the change in delta or change in VB is written as delta VB, that is partial change over of VB with respect to IB, that is this one, when the other independent variable is constant, and the partial change of VB with respect to this VC when the other variable IC is constant. That means they are with their DC values. So these are the Q point values, Q values. These two are the Q values. That means they are at constant value. Okay, and they are multiplied by del IB. So this, if this del IB is taken at this side, considering this term is not existing, in that case what is this del VB by del IB, that is for change in del IB, for change in IB, that is del IB, there will be a change in VB, that is del VB, and that absolute change will be actually represented as the partial change because the function is a multivariable function. So similarly, when there is a change of VC, there will be a change of VB, this will be absolute change that will be represented by the partial change of one of the independent variable when the other independent variable is constant at Q value or the DC value, and the change will be a partial change with respect to partial change in the given value which is being expressed here with respect to the independent value which is provided in the function, multivariable function. So this is the actual expression. So alternately, using the second function which is IC equal to F2 of IB VC, IB comma VC. So the second equation can be written as the other equation which is IC, that means change in IC means absolute change in IC, that is del IC. So this del IC is equal to del IC, delta IC is equal to del IC for del IB, del IB when VC is at Q value, capital VC, into how much change? Delta IB plus change in the other del IC for change in VC, del VC when the other variable IB is constant, and into this partial change multiplied by the absolute change in this variable, that is del VC into delta VC. So these are the two equations. Likewise it can be written. So here the del VB, del VC, del IC and del IB, all these represent small signal or incremental values for base and collector voltages and currents here. So that means this delta actually represents incremental change in corresponding values of voltages and currents, voltages and currents, and they represent the small signal change. Okay, so and that currents or voltages may be for the base and the collector. For base it is the input, for collector it is the output, because common emitter means the emitter is common to both base and collector and it is at ground. Now we may write using the different the previous expression we have found for common emitter mode. For CE mode, if we want to write the defining equations for H using H parameters, defining equations using H parameters, we may write that VB, because the input voltage is VB obviously, comparing with this equation, V1 equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2, comparing with this equation. Okay, so VB is nothing but H11. We in the last lecture we have seen what is H11. It is HIE, the input impedance. So HI and E means it is for common emitter mode. So HIE, the input current I1, that is IB, plus second H12 was HRE, and what is V2 here? It is VC. Another equation, this is the general form, this is general, and these two forms are for CE mode forms of H parameter equation. Okay, so this was V1 I2, this should be H21 I1 plus H22 V2. Now compare this with the CE mode form. I2 means it is IC, which is HFE, because H21 was HFE previously, and what is I1? It is IB, plus HOE, which was H22, and V2, what is V2? This is VC. So now we can write these two equations in common emitter mode from the concept of generalized H parameter equations. Okay, so if we can write these equations, so now we need to compare these two equations for CE mode with these two representations. So from there we can determine the values of H parameters. So if we now compare these two equations, so we may write that this VB is the instantaneous value, that means the change, so it is actually this one, and IC is the instantaneous value, that means the change in IC, that is this one. So actually these two represents this part can be compared with the right hand side of these two expressions. Okay, so right hand side of these two equations can be compared with right hand side of these two expressions, because this VB will be nothing but indicating delta VB and IC will be nothing but indicating delta IC. So if we now compare both the right hand parts of these two pair of equations, so we may find that HIE, that is this first one, HIE is nothing but del VB, from here you can see, by del IB, because we can compare only this with the first equation, del IB when Vc is at constant or Q value or DC value. Okay, this will not be there because this IB will be indicating this value. That means instantaneous IB will be the delta IB, that is absolute change in IB. Okay, then we should compare this term with this whole term, where Vc will be nothing but indicating delta Vc. So that means HRE will be only this partial derivative term. So HRE should be equal to del VB divided by del Vc when IB is constant. Very simple. That means it is at Q value, IB is at Q value. Now similarly compare IB, if you compare the second equation with the second expression, IC is indicating del IC and IB is indicating del IB, delta IB, not del, actually delta IB. So HFE will be this term, only the partial derivative term. So HFE is equal to del IC by del IB when Vc is constant or at Q value. And similarly HOE we can write comparing only this partial derivative term, that is del IC by del Vc when IB is constant or at Q value. So this is how we can determine analytically the various H parameters using the partial derivative from these given expressions. Now the typical nature of the output characteristics for a common emitter transistor circuit will be, we can draw, that is this one. It can be drawn like this. This is VCE or VC, that is the collector emitter voltage, and in the y-axis it is collector current, instantaneous collector current. This is instantaneous collector emitter voltage and it is instantaneous collector current. So here you know this VI characteristics will look like this, and for different IB values, suppose this is IB1, IB2, IB3 and so on. For different IB values we should be getting different curves, characteristic curves. Suppose here the Q point is located, and for specific IB1 there will be a typical IC or VC pair of values, and the Q point can be extrapolated on the two axes to get the two values. This is VC, or rather the quiescent value of VC, which is this one, this value, and this will be giving us the quiescent value of IC, which is nothing but quiescent value of IB, because it is actually taken from the characteristic curve giving this value IB3. So this IB3 will be the quiescent value for this particular curve. So with respect to this curve, the quiescent value for IB is this one, which is here. This is the IB, the quiescent value. So we can say that, so this is this IB3 will be actually the IB. This is not actually shown to be IB because this is the axis for IC. So this quiescent value is representing this curve. So this curve will be given us, this IB3 will be given us this IB value, which is the quiescent Q value for this one. So this is the VI characteristics of common emitter mode transistor amplifier, or rather we can say the output characteristics. So from here the quiescent point with respect to this Q, this point, if we extrapolate on y-axis, this is actually capital IC, this is collector current, and this corresponding curve will represent the corresponding base current, which is the quiescent base current. So this Q point will be represented by VC and IC. So now for characteristic base current for quiescent base current IB. Now if the base current is changed between two values, suppose this IB is changed to IB2 for once, and in the next level it is changed to suppose IB4, it toggles, it changes between these two values IB2 and IB4, keeping VC constant. That means for once it is coming down over here for IB2, and once again it is moving towards upward for IB4, keeping this value VC constant, because for any case this VC should be at quiescent value, keeping VC constant. As we have seen for these two equations, this VC should be kept constant, and the corresponding IB, if VC is made constant, the corresponding IB can be varied, because these multivariable functions are dependent on two independent variables. When VC remains constant, IB may vary. When IB remains constant, VC may vary, and accordingly these partial derivatives are can be called valid. That means these expressions of H parameters may exist, these values may exist. So and in the corresponding case, if for IB1 and IB2, if this is suppose giving us the value of base current IB2, and this is giving us the value of base current IB4. Now if we find the relation, if we know the value of beta for this transistor, we can, from these two values we can get the corresponding IC values also. So this IB4 suppose will give IC4, and this will give IC2, the corresponding collector currents. So hence from these expressions we can find that HFE, suppose we need to find the HFE, this one. So how this can be found? With the help of this expression and this characteristic curve. This HFE now can be written as HFE is equal to del IC by del IB. Now what is del IC? Del IC is, it is change from IC2 to IC4. So it is, it can be written del IC by del IB when VC constant, VC at Q. So we have already made VC at Q, that means it is constant. So let us only find from this characteristic curve the value of del IC and value of del IB. Now del IC means it is actually the change from this original Q point position up to this IB2, then up to IB4, and the corresponding up to this IC2, and then up to in this direction, this is IC2, and in this direction for this point it is IC4. So the corresponding change from IB2 to IB4 will be IC2 to IC4. So we can write this as, for del IC it can be written as approximately equal to delta IC by delta IB, and delta IC means the absolute change. That means it is the change from, if we consider these figures or these mappings as per these characteristics, this is the change from IC4 minus IC2. This is the overall change. Minimum value is this one and the maximum value is this one. Between the change, which is delta IC and delta IB, will be can be written as IB4 minus IB2 as per this VI characteristics. So if we now read the change from the graph, that means if we scale, if we count what is the scale between to find these values IC4, IC2, IB4, IB2 from the graph paper and put those values over here, we can easily find what is the value of HFE from this characteristic curve or from this plot on the graph paper. Okay, so this is the way how all these H parameters can be accordingly found. Now from the defining equation of HOE it is evident that HOE is simply given by the slope of the output characteristics at the Q point. you can match. This is the defining equation. HOE is del IC by del VC, and IC by VC means IC is plotted over here, VC is plotted over here. That means it is Y, IC is at Y axis, VC is at X axis. So it is nothing but Y by X and Y by X means we can write this as HOE. This is nothing but change in Y by change in X. This delta means change. That means it is Y2 minus Y1 by X2 minus X1. And you know what is this? This is nothing but the slope of a straight line, or rather this is the basic formula to find the slope of any curve also, not only straight line. So from here what we can say, this HOE is nothing but the slope of this characteristic curve, or rather slope of the output characteristics at the particular Q point for which we can find the values of the IC and IB according to their incremental changes. So the two parameters HFE and HOE can be defined likewise, and the other parameters HIE and HRE can also be obtained from the C input characteristics of the transistor by following the similar procedure, because from this is the output characteristics. From the output characteristics we can find HFE and HOE. So from here you have seen. Now for getting HIE and HRE, because these two are input circuit terms or input circuit parameters, so for this we need to draw the input. This is output characteristics for transistor amplifier. For finding these two we need to draw the input characteristics of the transistor amplifier. Okay, from input characteristics you can similarly find these two terms. You can solve this, try to solve this on your own. Okay, so this is all about the determination of H parameters of transistor amplifiers. Now let us see the conversion formula of three sets of H parameters. First we should draw a table C, CC and CB mode. You can derive the relations on your own. I will be just giving you the expressions. Please try to remember these expressions for design purpose and to solve different numerical problems. This common emitter mode, you know, all the four parameters are HIE, HFE, HOE and HRE. For HIE, the common for CC mode, it is HIC is equal to HIE, and for CB mode it is denoted by HIB, you know, that is HIE by 1 plus HFE by 1 plus HFE. So these are the relations between HIE with HIC and HIB. Now let us see what is HFE, and with HFC, HFC is minus 1 plus HFE, and what is HFB? This is minus HFE by 1 plus HFE. So this is the corresponding relation between HFE, HFC and HFB. Now what is HOE with HOC? The relation is HOE. They are same. Likewise this HIE. They are almost same. And what is HOB? HOB is nothing but HOE by 1 plus HFE. So you can remember like this, since these two are equal, accordingly for common base these two are equal. In the denominator for both cases HFE is used, but in the numerator just HI is because it is HI and hence it is HI, because it is HO and hence it is HO, nothing else. It is very easy to remember these relations. And for HRE, HRC is actually 1, that means unity, and HRB is nothing but, this is a little bit large expression, HIE, HOE, HIE, HOE, divided by 1 plus HFE minus HRE minus HRE. Okay, so these are the relations or conversion formulas for three sets of H parameters. Different manufacturers do not specify H parameters for all the three operating modes. Normally they specify for common emitter mode only. So if you are having the values in common emitter mode, using this table you can find the corresponding values in common base and common collector mode also. So when a transistor is used in another mode, it is necessary to know the H parameters appropriate to that mode, and accordingly from this table you can calculate the corresponding values once you are having the common emitter values in your hand. And you can derive these relations easily and try to do on your own using Kirchhoff's laws and hybrid equations, which you are already knowing. And just you need to assume that HRE is in some derivations you need to apply HRE far less than 1. This condition, that means this HRE, this last parameter is should be far less than 1. And another is HIE into HOE, that is the numerator of this relation HRB. HIE, product of HIE and HOE, is also far less than 1. These two assumptions you need to have to apply on your derivations to arrive at these relations. So try to do on your own to find how to let yourself to see how to find this, how you can find these relations to be established.